Twice last week, Alice, we're trying to work out technical stuff here. Twice last week during my radio show, my setup wasn't correct for the beginning of the show, and I'm seated my pantsing it usually when I start off.
Oh, yeah,
anyway.
you usually, it's like 11:03, and you're like getting in the shower, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Because I try to take every second I can. I have to get my routine in and stuff, and then try to get every second to gather audio, etc. Seat my pants. So 2 times I had kind of wavering monologues at the beginning of the thing, because it's one thing to just monologue and concentrate on it. It's another thing to monologue while doing your own tech support.
Right.
And I couldn't figure it out, but it's an interesting muscle to have to learn to fix because you have to. I mean, I couldn't go to break, and sometimes my just meander. But I will get better at that. But it is interesting because sometimes if you're doing something else at the same time, you'll fetch the wrong word and then because you've used the wrong word now, you're now having
You're in a new direction.
Yes, exactly. So now you have to make sense of why you use that word. Like I remember, this said something like the movement is a campaign. It's a symphony of coordinated forces trying to destroy institutions. Though thoughtfully, thoughtfully it's what? What is it thoughtfully? Possibly, what is it thoughtfully? So I had to think of what it was thoughtfully, because I was trying to at the same time change inputs and outputs and this and that and doing wires, and I was like everything. And then I got happy because I remembered that you had used this last, and I thought, oh, there we go, I can pin this on her.
The fact that that's what makes you happy.
I know it does. By the way, you're gonna see something that doesn't make me happy on my Instagram.
No, you didn't post that video.
Yes, I did. I was personally offended. That my own wife? Really? Really? I would rather have you have a degrading affair with Pete Davidson than do what you did. And then you so broke so many rules today, and then never. We went to Fenway Park today. Thank you, Odyssey, for the tickets. Thank you, the Fenway Group and John Henry and Linda Pizzuti for the $300 worth of stuff, 4 drinks and 3 hot dogs. Not quite, really, but a cup of water, Fenway, a bottle of water is $6.05. It's freaking Disney prices.
Yeah.
Ugh. So anyway, for 2 things Alice did horrifically wrong today.
I did not do anything wrong today. I was fantastic today.
This is my Instagram. You were lovely today. This is my Instagram, considering what we were dealing with. We had to drag a child to Fenway from 10 blocks into Brookline, Massachusetts, because he had seen a playground that he wanted to go to instead of Fenway Park. So she was dragging him, and I had the other. Anyway,
I had to chase him physically through the streets, running after him, 5 months pregnant.
Yeah. He'll just run into
he'll
Boston.
go right across Beacon Street like he doesn't care.
Yeah, he'd run across the Mass Pike. He doesn't care. So we get into Fenway, and the first thing that Alice does is she's up, big smile. This is on my Instagram. You can check it out. Big smile, enjoying every second of Sweet Caroline.
Why am I not allowed to enjoy Sweet Caroline?
She's like 275 pounds now because of being pregnant.
That's not true.
She forces herself up to just get all into it. You're going to see this is real uncut.
No, why would you post
the raw
that?
stuff of Alice with a very pretty smile and just get really enjoying Sweet Caroline. It's such a. I don't even want to say.
First of all,
we used to call we back in the day, Alice. I would say that we used to call that a pink hat thing. Like girls who don't know anything about baseball go.
I was there with children.
Oh, and our children are always asking about Neil Diamond. They're always requesting.
No, but they're excited. They want to get into this stuff. So our 5-year-old, who we had to drag there, this is the one that Tom, last time we were at Fenway Park as a family, Tom called him an a-hole on KMS right afterwards.
He was that day. He lied down. Guys, you guys have been to Fenway Park. He lied down in the middle of a concourse while people were walking, trying to get past, packed. That is my worst. Had I had the means of blowing my brains out at that moment, I would have done it.
So, but and then he, like Tom was saying, he was mad this time because he saw a playground on the way, and he decided he would prefer to go there than to a baseball game at Fenway Park. And once he gets it in his head, he's like mad, and so he was mad about a bunch of things. But I mean, he had a great time actually. He really enjoys watching the baseball, and he has a good time, and he's getting
2 out of 3 dug it. And
he's getting into Alex Verdugo. That's his guy now.
Yeah, I think that's great. And well, a little rapey maybe in the past, but that's fine. But
is he? I don't even know.
I think isn't he the one Verdugo who got in trouble? Wrote about for the Lowell Sun.
Was he there then?
He's fine. You know what?
Anyway, well, I won't tell him that anyway. Okay. So I won't tell him to imitate that. But he's 5, so I think we're okay. So anyway, so he was into that because he's a lefty hitter like him and a redhead like him. So he was glad about that.
All the Shadow kids are lefty hitters.
Mm-hmm.
Throw right, bat left.
So that was good. He was enjoying that. And he really enjoyed all the music. He was dancing. And he was completely pissed off because he kept not being on the Jumbotron. And we were like way back in the seats. Place. Like way and it was actually good, really good today to be under the ceiling because like it was pouring during certain parts of the game. So I was happy not to be in the rain with them because especially the 7-year-old was already a little bit miserable.
Right.
And so it was good.
This is like section 19 and
like
way
back.
Way up.
Yeah.
So
we were not going to be on the Jumbotron.
These are the seats that were around during the Titanic time, the blue ones, which I fit into actually, which was kind of nice.
That's great. So but he was legitimate, like he was way into the dancing. And like every time they like switch the camera to a new group of kids or people dancing or whatever, he'd be like, "Again? Not me? They did those people and not me." Like he was like,
he feels entitled. We have very, very entitled kids there.
So
there's a chance that if he was a little more high profile, that he would have made such a scene that he would have definitely been on the camera, and possibly some official security may have been over there.
But he did explode his Sprite bottle on everyone around us too, which
I dutifully got. It should be known that we only had 4 seats, so as I want to do, I was separate from the family, but I was waiting on you.
That was lovely. You were very nice.
I took kids to the bathroom. I got them all drinks. $6.25 for a Sprite.
But yeah, but they liked singing along to take me out to the ball game. They liked seeing Wally. They liked
7th inning stretch?
They liked the 7th inning stretch. They liked doing the wave. They liked all the things. I understand that it's pink hat stuff and
somebody dropping Sally off, by the way?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
That we should be too cool to do things like that. But the kids are into it, and it's fun, and I'm there with the kids.
It too. The Cindy Lou Who smile you had on your face is something that people...
I was having fun with my kids at Fenway Park.
I
was having a happy family day. While somebody, like the Grinch, is looking over with his little camera. Look at them having fun over there. I'll show her.
With their Who-sized lunches. But
I was brave enough to get a hot dog at Fenway Park, which I never did before.
That was good.
I got 4 hot dogs.
You guys were way in there too, jammed in. It was like out of a row of 30, there were like seats 13 through 17.
We were like in the middle.
It was not acceptable.
And, yeah, but it was only like one other family that was like a big group that had a bunch of kids also that was next to us, that was in between us and the hot dog guy, and they stopped him first. So then he was already stopped and getting out hot dogs. So before he could leave, I was like, "Oh, and more hot dogs, please." And I got hot dogs from him. And
this is something we should just keep between ourselves. So I think a lot of people just call it getting hot dogs. I don't think we have to pat ourselves in the back.
I've never done that, and I'm socially awkward, and it's terrible. Like if I can't order things on an app, I'm already like afraid to do it.
You did a good job, and your dancing's kind of cute. I must say, even though I was angry. But, well, here's the real thing. I wasn't really angry of that. I mean, fine, we've sold out. Fine. I'm also, whatever. Here's the thing that really got me. Oh, by the way, we did manage to park in Brookline for free rather than pay $55 to park. Holy.
That was incredible. I can't believe it's that expensive.
So here's the other thing.
Yeah.
And this is not acceptable. Where it's the bottom of the ninth. I'm taking the 2 out of the 3 boys to the bathroom so we can get ready to go. Mm-hmm. I take them to the bathroom. The game is ending.
Ends.
I text Alice and say, stay there.
At which point I was already standing outside the closest men's bathroom to us where I thought you were.
No. I'm squad leader. This is Fenway Park. This extraction is a huge thing. You stay the hell still. You don't freelance. You don't decide to give it a shot.
I'm allowed to leave my seat and walk around in Fenway Park.
No, there's an art to getting the hell out of that place, Alice. What you did is just stand up in the middle of the, what's the Somme saying? Where were the trenches in World War II? World War I. The Somme? This is the equivalent of you like getting on a step stool and just looking around. Let's go. Maybe we should meander over there.
I didn't meander. The game ended. You weren't back.
So then she said, I went to the bathroom. And by the way, she shouldn't have left the seats. And then she went to a bathroom that wasn't even the bathroom I was at. Then I said,
well, it was the closest one to us.
And then and I knew that you couldn't have been in our bathroom. So I said, get back to the seat. We went back to the seats. There was nobody to be found.
You told me to get back to the seats, so I did. And you said, why did you go back to the seats?
There's one squad leader. That's me. You stay still until you get orders.
You told me to go back to the seats.
No, this is, my dad uses the same thing.
You told me to go back to the seats.
You should have always been in the seats. It should never have been. And then you went to a bathroom that's an undisclosed location bathroom. You don't.
I went to the bathroom that was literally right behind us.
Alice. We weren't going to that bathroom. There's
Why weren't you going to the
347 men's
closest bathroom?
Because the one right behind you was also a changing station.
No, not that one. The one below that one.
None of this. Listen, you're being what's it called when you don't listen to your commanding officer? Iptopronic. You're being insubordinate. You are being insubordinate. That's not, you don't, this is why women, it's not your job at Fenway. Your job is to make sure that the couplings are attached.
My job is to dance during Sweet Caroline.
Okay, yeah, your job is to dance, you can do pretty stuff. When it comes to navigation, getting the hell out of Dodge, in Fenway Park, in Boston, which you don't know anything about any of these places, your input is not required, it is not authorized. You freelancing and just trying things out. It's 35,000 people leaving that place. It is a mess. You need hardened
I was standing
Fenway
by the
people
closest men's bathroom.
like Tom Shattuck to get us the hell out of there. You go, meander over here. I thought I would look for you.
I didn't meander. I didn't meander.
You just got the squad split up.
I went to where I thought you would be because it was the closest men's bathroom.
Military units get killed. You put us all at risk because you thought for yourself that you were still high off of Sweet Caroline and you thought that you'd try to sashay around the ballpark.
I wasn't sashaying.
It's a battle.
I just walked like a normal person.
Not only do I have the battle, I know what's going on. I have the timing. I know the egress to take. I know which way to get to the St. Mary's area of Brookline, which way to go. I have every second calculated. Every second. And it all depends on pure precision and coordination. So you are busted down to buck private, my friend. From now on, I'm the direction guy. That is all. You're dismissed. Okay. I'm done attacking you for the day.
That's it? Any other complaints? Under the deadline here? Oh, you do have another complaint with me, actually.
What was that?
It's about what we did last night.
Holy God. Holy. Oh, you Weasley F. Oh, my goodness. Weasley F. So our friend, Josh, was watching our other friend's kids and had floated the idea that we do something joint, which is a good idea because they all get along. So Alice comes up with the idea to see Spiderman.
It was not my idea.
Whose idea was it?
Josh's idea, because his kids wanted to see that.
Alice's idea to see Spider-Man.
I agreed. I thought it's a good idea.
I figured I was very busy doing important things in yard work, etc. So in my garden, etc. So I'm like, okay, this is fine. Just look at it. So we go down to the cinema in
Methuen.
In Methuen.
Great cinema.
Yes. The Latin Kings certainly think so. There's no doubt about that.
I like it there.
It's fine. After dark, look out because it's a different. It's a different place. It was true. What? It's true.
Okay.
I felt a presence, a gang-like presence, and
It's just a movie theater.
Okay, that's fine. No, it's just a movie theater. That's
Okay.
right.
I'm not usually there that late at night.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Normally, I go to the matinees that are like 30% off.
Yes, the gang presence is minimized during the matinees. I always suggest you go during the matinees. So, so we go and we get ready, and on the way, we're told that somehow that it's an animated movie. I'm like, wait, so I'm going to watch this thing that I don't think I'm going to stick around and watch anyway.
Yeah, you're not really a comic book movie guy, even when they're like live action comic book movies. So
this movie, it's a new Spider-Man. It's animated. It's very 1970s groovy, babe, kind of urban,
comic book. It's all like they
jungle.
all have.
It's like it's definitely like it reminds me of like a lot of like the black exploitation, what do they call blaxploitation films? Blaxploitation. That's what it's called, right? From the 70s.
I don't know.
Reminds me, among other things. Anyway,
and it's like very stylized, like comic book drawing style, where they have like lines on their faces. I felt like Malcolm McDowell in Clockwork
Orange with my eyes. It actually it dented my mind. The movie is 4 hours and 27 minutes.
I know, it's
going to feel like 18 hours.
2 hours and 20 minutes.
I don't care about the Vulture or Macron or Flilly and this Dr. Kanekio or any of these villains. I don't care. I want all the Spider-Men dead. I hate that. I hate all Spider-Men.
Our 5-year-old, once again, loved it.
It was a rubbish.
Loved it.
Horrid waste of time.
Miles Morales is the protagonist in ours, and our 5-year-old was calling him Miles per hour.
That is good. That I like. That I like. That I like. Unfortunately, the movie moves along at 2 miles per hour, and it takes 10 hours to watch.
And can we do a spoiler for the end?
Sure. Go right ahead.
Yeah, so, I mean, like, use your 30-second button or whatever if you don't want the animated Spider-Verse movie ruined for you. Or I guess this doesn't even really ruin it because there's nothing to ruin because after 2 hours and 20 minutes of when I'm, like, looking at the time and being like, how are they going to wrap all this up? It's a to be continued.
Right. And
they don't resolve anything.
I had my rosary out saying, thank God it's not right now. It was just mercifully, after 3 hours, got the hell out of that. That movie sucks. All of these comic book movies now, except for there's a couple. Who cares about all the Spider-Man? I don't understand. What they've done is mass produce the action, mass produce the Spider-Man, mass produce the villains. And there's nothing, it's just WWE. There's nothing unique about it anymore. The Spider-Man and the villains never die when they should. If you throw a bus at somebody and it hits them in the head, that should be the end. Roll credits. Let me get the F home at 95 miles per hour. But no, it's like it's all like hyperbolic exaggerations where nothing useful happens. It sucks. It just sucks. I
did think the to be continued was frustrating.
And then you know what else sucks even more about it is it's half what's it called? Gregorious of action.
What?
Gratuitous.
Okay.
It's half gratuitous action, way over the top with the Bose freaking sound system destroying your mind.
Yeah, it's like
chairs
Dolby
moving,
digital, so everything
right,
like
but
vibrates.
For no reason, it's all smash cut, this, that. The train comes and almost hits you with this. It's just too much of it for it to count. I mean, it doesn't. It's just overload. It sucks. By the way, I was already sick of movies after the previews because there's 11 other little freaking comic book movies that are out that all suck. All of these movies suck. I'm sorry. I'm trying not to be negative.
No, you're not trying not to be negative.
Suck. It's terrible. Oh, you know what? You know what it reminds me of? The scenery reminds me of from the early 70s, Fritz the Cat, which is different than Fritz the Cat, who's our friend who listens. Mm-hmm. Fritz the Cat is a early 70s animated porn. It's a weird and disturbing thing. I don't want to say why me and my friend rented it. It was weird.
Okay. Well, anyway.
Okay, so my last thing is this.
So, but yeah,
it's
but
half
I thought
gratuitous
Tom
over the top action, none of which is believable. CGI, just BS, and then half social and emotional learning. Are you going to get over it? How do you feel? I still feel victimized. You feel, but but emotionally, I'm not at a place where I can find it. My reckoning and trigger. You pussies! You pussies! Rambo walked into town and killed every freaking cop in the state. And for a second, had flashbacks to Vietnam. And then resumed killing everybody. These guys are such pussies, these action heroes. Spider-Man's upset, he's depressed, that nobody loved him, that he's not original. God! This is so... I can't believe it. Just get in the jet and shoot the other jets, okay? You can have one scene to lose your wingman and cry about it, okay? But then get in the jet and start shooting again. God. There was no... You know what? You know where you never knew how anybody felt except for maybe the chick for a nanosecond? Was Roadhouse. You didn't know.
So true.
Dalton was stone cold. That's it. The guy, Samuel Elliott, was stone cold. No, I'm sure they had very interesting backstories and emotions, etc., and things that had happened in their lives and tragedies, etc. Didn't waste our time. He ripped somebody's throat out. They were kicking ass. You don't need this social emotional learning crap in movies. It sucks. God, Jesus. Freaking.
So I thought Tom was gonna kill me when he came back from the lobby bar where he'd been for like an hour, and he's like,
"It was not at the lobby bar. It was at it was a different bar, like an Applebee's or something."
Oh yeah, I think I saw that on our bank account. Yeah. Anyway, and he came back in the theater and he's like, "Oh, is it almost over?" And I was like, "Oh no, it's not almost over. We got an hour and a half to go."
So what had happened was when I came back in, they were introducing the fifth new Spider-Man that was going to be in this movie, and they were all together. And little did I know that's when the movie really starts. That means there's an hour and 46 minutes left because they're going.
And they're still not going to resolve anything because it's a to be continued at that.
Oh, God, just awful. Allison.
Mm-hmm.
Utah district bans Bible in elementary and middle schools due to vulgarity, this is going to be a tactic the left uses going forward.
I mean, were they using the Bible in the Utah elementary school?
The good book is being treated like a bad book in Utah after a parent, frustrated by efforts to ban materials from schools, convinced the suburban district that some Bible verses were too vulgar or violent for younger children. And the Book of Mormon could be next. The 72,000-student Davis School District north of Salt Lake City removed the Bible from its elementary and middle schools while keeping it in high schools after a committee reviewed the scripture in response to a parental complaint. Blue-haired parent. The district has removed other titles, including Sherman Alexi's The Absolute...
I mean, but I really want to know, how many kids were looking at the Bible in the elementary and middle school library?
Kid has ever done that voluntarily.
I wouldn't even know to tell you if the Bible was it probably wasn't in my elementary or middle school library. And if it was, I sure never saw it there. And I did read the Bible at that time in my life. But I don't need it to be in the school. They're not going to teach it. I mean, I guess for reference if you need to know, but it's all on the internet. Every translation of the Bible is all on the internet for free everywhere. If you need to know something that's in the Bible for reference, it's not available to you. The thing is not banned, right? And that's the thing, is that neither are the gay books banned. They're also all the information about fisting and everything else that they want to teach the little elementary school children, that's not banned either. That's all available on the internet. If you want to teach that to your kid, then go be my guest, but you can keep it out of the schools. I also don't think, and I'm obviously a big fan of the Bible and believe in reading it, but I don't think that what were the children? I mean, the teachers sure weren't going to teach it. So what? The elementary schoolers were just going to take it out and read it on their own? I don't even think people should necessarily be reading the Bible on their own without church father commentary. You can't even adults can't really read the Bible and just understand it on the face of it. It's very opaque, a lot of it. And contrary to what the people believe, who I think are well-intentioned people who go leave Bibles around places or like hand them out on street corners,
Yep.
is I think that that's like a very difficult way to approach Christianity, is just by being handed a Bible. Like I think that's a non-obvious way. Like if somebody handed you a Bible and you just started reading it, would you find that like a compelling case to become Christian? I just like don't think that's a very I don't think it's a very like compelling,
Right.
Evangelical tactic.
Yeah, but
like
that's
I
not
don't
what's
think.
happening here. Obviously.
Well, no, but I'm saying like the Bible is very inscrutable. It's very difficult to interpret, very difficult to understand, which is why when you have faith traditions that rely on individuals just interpreting what they think the Bible means, why you end up with as many different interpretations of it as there are people, right? When you don't have, but I mean, like the Bible came out of an existing faith community. It wasn't like some people just found a book in the desert. Although in Utah, that's like actually what Mormonism is that, the Book of Mormon was found in the desert by Joseph Smith. Or like revealed to him by an angel. He found the golden plates or whatever, but Christianity, the Christian Bible that's traditionally been used in the church for 2,000 years, is not a book that was revealed by revelation like the Quran or like the Book of Mormon. This is a series of connected religious texts that developed within an existing faith community over a period of time. And it's non-obvious if you're not in that faith tradition or you don't have the context to understand what's going on in it. It's not necessarily obvious what it means or what it's trying to tell you.
But expect this to be.
But I guess what I'm saying is like I don't.
Well, this is going to be, since you won't let us have Billy Wants to Be a Mermaid, you don't get to have your precious Bible.
Yeah, and I don't care because I can give my kids a Bible at home. And like that's kind of where it should be anyway. It should be in the context of church and home and interpretation within a faith tradition. Not like, what are the elementary schoolers going to do with the Bible? Like, I don't know, but
the point is what they're up to.
No, I get it. But I think it's dumb. And I think, go for it, guys. Have fun. It's not going to make me put the gay books back in the school.
Which brings us to Iowa. GOP 2024 hopefuls descend on Iowa for Joni Ernst's Roast and Ride gathering, where unfortunately Mike Pence drove a motorcycle.
So he's announcing his campaign June 7th, is my understanding. That's this Wednesday. Christie's going to be in shortly. We talked about that.
Tim Scott, he's already
Tim
announced,
Scott's
right?
already in, yeah.
But
He's got a bunch of endorsements.
Three more coming in. Who's the third?
Is that who they were talking about? Probably someone really boring. Lynn Cheney won't rule it out.
Oh, right.
I don't know if that's who they're talking about. Youngkin also went back on ruling it out. Chris Sununu's probably going to get in. Could that be the third that they're talking about?
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, on the Sunday shows, they were talking about 3 more people getting in. Ugh, but yeah, I'm drained of all of these people. Like, I really am.
So am I. And their Sunday shows are trying to make us excited. And the two things are happening. One, they're trying to make us excited about Biden reaching across the aisle. It's DC is working again in working with the budget deal with McCarthy. And you like this. This is normalcy. This is how it's supposed to be. Working together. By the way, Biden's shown he can work together. Don't pay any attention to the fact he fell. Don't pay any attention to the fact he fell. And then they're trying to make us excited about candidates who are absolutely boring. So they had some people pimping out like Tim Scott and some other people, who's fine, but it's...
Yeah, he's got a lot of DC endorsements. Tim Scott, like Senate people that he works with have endorsed him. And like, so draining because they're like, I think he's got a good shot. And once people hear him, he's really going to take hold because he's got such a great message and such positivity. And I'm excited to vote for... He's not going anywhere. This is so stupid. Like, why are all these people getting in?
Even Nikki Haley being in is boring as hell. I am a little intrigued by Vivek because I find him kind of interesting. Obviously, DeSantis.
Well, at least Vivek is like a different thing.
Right.
And then somebody said about Christie on the stupid Sunday show we were listening to, he fights like he's from New Jersey. Like, that's as bad as the Nikki Haley, like, stupid high heels lines that she does. Like, stop. Please. Just stop.
Have you heard of Ryan Binkley?
No.
He's declared, Ryan Binkley, a Dallas area businessman and non-denominational pastor.
Mm-hmm.
Binkley is contradicting his early efforts in Iowa, where he went up with TV ads in 2033. Winning Path, Binkley's opening ad hid inspirational notes promising to renew a country that is strong, unified, and reconciled to God and each other. Never heard of him. Larry Elder.
Yeah,
These are the long shots. We like Larry. Asa Hutchinson, the long shot, freaking boring, absolute milquetoast. Tucker whacked him out. Perry Johnson. Johnson failed to qualify for the ballot in his last campaign for Michigan governor in 2022, but the businessman, yada. Vivek.
Good. People who can't figure out how to make ballots, that's always good.
Tim Scott from South Carolina, we talked about him. Possibly, maybe is Doug Burgum. Only 3 states have a population smaller than North Dakota. He's the North Dakota governor.
Nice.
Christie, we know him. Mike Rogers. Mike Rogers gave up the gavel of the House Intelligence Committee in 2014 to become a talk radio personality. I didn't even know he did. I didn't even know who he was. Boring. Chris Sununu, boring. For around here, he's exciting because these are, communist satellite states.
Yeah, he lets the Democrats be like, look, I vote for the person, not the party. I voted for a Republican.
Right.
And he's a Republican that has all the same positions as the Democrats, but it just like makes them feel good.
Yeah.
To say that they voted for a Republican one time because they want to be balanced.
Unlikely is Greg Abbott. Texas. Yeah. We like him, but he's redundant to DeSantis.
Mm-hmm. So is Kemp, really. Redundant to DeSantis.
Yeah. Oh, God. In Youngkin. Shut up about him. I'm not talking to you.
No, but also people do keep bringing up Youngkin.
Also unlikely, Kristi Noem. Alice, I'll let you encapsulate my feelings about Kristi Noem.
She's hot?
Correct. Marco Rubio.
Yeah, he's not going to get in.
His chance was...
His chance was 2016, and it didn't pan out, so that's that.
Ruled out Larry Hogan, thank God, because there's 7 other Larry Hogans who are ruled in, unfortunately. Pompeo's not running. Rick Scott, another loser, is not running. So there we go. It's really... the other thing is that everybody's on Trump for congratulating Kim Jong-un, and DeSantis blasted him for it. Most of the Republicans did.
Mm-hmm.
So there's two places I'm here on Trump congratulating him to getting into the World Health Organization, which, by the way, the WHO sucks. So why is
they're terrible and a joke.
So why is Trump like giving plaudits to the WHO? They suck. And obviously he's a despot and a malignant murderer, Kim Jong-un, and that's obviously true.
Mm-hmm.
That said, I think
Trump just genuinely likes him.
Yeah, that's the fact that
he's like a fun hang,
and he doesn't give a flying F. That it's not acceptable to anybody. That Jake Tapper is hyperventilating about it.
Right, he doesn't care.
And then in what his campaign said, it was Trump proved with Kim Jong-un that it's peace through strength. It's like, sure, he's still testing his nukes. But I do like that he doesn't give a fuck. And that's it.
I mean, although Kim Jong-un didn't really do anything when Trump was in office.
Right.
I mean, and do you remember when there was like the scare with like the missile warning system or whatever in Hawaii, and everyone was like, see what happens when Trump is president, see. And then it turned out it was like legitimately just someone's mistake, like just someone's screw up, and they were like, well, see what happens when Trump is president because it's so believable that it would be true then. Like,
yes. Well, they already have Trump as having lost Ukraine if he had been president.
When he's the only president in recent years who hasn't let Putin invade Ukraine. So
yeah, Trump likes Putin, and he likes Kim Jong-un. He likes Putin. He still screwed Putin. There's no doubt. I mean, he was very tough on Russia.
Oh yeah, and because he's an unpredictable person, like none of these countries knew what to do with him necessarily, so they weren't going to risk anything because he could blow you up and be tweeting American flags an hour later. So, you just don't know with Trump.
Anything more on Iowa or the GOP guys?
No, I'm bored of all of them. I need them to stop. I need them to drop out of the race. I don't want to see a debate stage of 20 idiots who are shocked about what Trump said about Kim Jong-un to, repeat the same answer to the stupid question. Like, they can all go away. That's fine.
Okay. Can I hit one lifestyle thing?
Sure. Let's hit one lifestyle thing before we go to the chat and our Patreon show, which is going to be a better Patreon show than last week.
This thing about, who was in The Godfather? Who's the old
Al Pacino?
Al Pacino marrying this 24-year-old whatever, who's very attractive. And Al Pacino's like 89 or something. And the contention is that it's a kind of sexual assault, is one of these articles that we saw. Because...
Yeah, this person tweeted, "We need to talk about how age gaps like this are legal. The difference in lived life experiences and wealth strips away any facade of consent. This is borderline pedophilia."
Borderline pedophilia. She's in her 20s, right?
Yeah.
It's not anything.
It's not pedophilia.
No.
It's not pedophilia. Pedophilia is a problem, and this is the problem when you're a leftist and the only rule you have about sex is that it has to be consensual. Everything's consensual. And that leads you to notice that some things are kind of icky or don't seem right. And you try and fit them into the box of consent because you've decided that that's the only rule that anybody has to follow when it comes to sex. So, you look at something that you don't approve of and you say, oh, well, the problem with pedophilia is that children can't consent. No, the problem with pedophilia is that it exposes children to sexual content, and they're children.
Right, but
it has nothing to do with consent.
Yeah, but it's absurd at all. Then the lived experiences strips away any facade of consent. Well, different people have different lived experiences.
Right.
And she's had different lived experiences that he hasn't had. Of course, he's had like 7 dozen more years, decades of lived experiences that she doesn't have. But it doesn't matter. I mean, at the end of the day, she's seen him, talked to him, and said, that's the person I want to reproduce with. He's got the traits that I like. But she's not supposed to because... So she's supposed to date some, like, Antifa by night, barista by day loser? It's like Al Pacino is one thing that many of her peers who are 24 aren't. He's one, and I know this for a fact because I can see his work. He's been gainfully employed for decades.
That's true. And also, a lot of these people are super charismatic and interesting. Like, yes. I'm not that into like Al Pacino type movies, so he wouldn't be like top of mind for me. But like, I get flack from people for liking Jack Nicholson or whatever. And hot women don't date Jack Nicholson when he's older than them because he's rich. Lots of people are rich. People date him because he's Jack Nicholson and he's super charismatic and interesting and has a huge personality. I mean, same with like, remember the Dick Van Dyke wife? People had a hard time with that too. People were mad. Like, she's probably having an awesome time. She's married to Dick Van Dyke. He's awesome. He's probably the funnest person in the retirement home. He's probably great. And he has a good time with her because she's attractive. And she probably has a good time with him because he's probably freaking awesome. Like, I mean, yeah, he's like 100 years old, but, there's trade-offs in life, right? Like, it is what it is. But that's, people
We're on team now.
Who to date.
Time for the Chelsea Fire Wicked Hotline.
We are going to head to the Chelsea Fire Wicked Hotline, which is brought to us by Chelsea Fire Wicked Hot Sauce.
Hi, Steve from Merrimack.
Hi, Steve.
Like I said in a previous message the other day, I'm playing catch up, so I'm finally caught up with all the episodes. And I really liked your May 28th episode, in all candor. It was just the two of you talking in the woods or something. Oh. But it was really good, and I really enjoyed your discussion of the parade of LGBT, blah, blah, blah.
Theater kids.
People that are being forced down our throat every single day.
Yeah.
In fact, I almost introduced myself as Two Spirit Steve from Merrimack. But, getting into the whole pride thing with One thing I've never understood with pride parades. Now, I've been to many a parade in my almost 55 years. And, St. Patrick's Day in New York City when I was a kid, and Memorial Day parades and 4th of July parades. What's up with the pride parades? What's up with the nudity? Why does everybody have to be naked at the pride parade? And I remember this from when they were, the pride parades were in their infancy, like in the mid 80s.
Right.
I don't understand the nudity. I've never seen a naked, pilgrim at a Thanksgiving Day parade. I've never seen a naked, leprechaun on St. Patrick's Day. I just, can you help fill in the gaps here for me? Thank you.
So I believe I know a couple of guys who actually miss all the nakedity because I think it was mostly men in, leather or thongs on floats, having a few drinks and horny as hell. And
well, yeah, and I think that the gay movement in general in the 80s was like more edgy and openly sexual and both in its presentation and in its actual like political goals. I mean, like they wanted to like break down marriage, and this sort of domestication of the gay movement has rubbed some people within it of the older generation the wrong way because, they see it as kind of selling out and like assimilating into mainstream culture this whole like gay marriage thing and like making the pride parades family friendly and getting rid of kink at pride and people saying like it's not really about sex because to a lot of people it is actually like about who they want to have sex with.
Yes. No doubt.
I think that's like front of mind for some people in the gay community.
Yes, and obviously if you have 25-year-old a club full of 25-year-old, imbibing young men.
Well, right.
With any guy, the success rate of hooking up is usually, if you're a guy,
Well, right. Men are hornier than women.
Exactly. So the odds are, right.
So your chances are better if you're into other men who are hornier. Whereas, like, with men and women, it's like, the guy trying to hook up and the women, like, being less interested.
Yes. No, absolutely.
But if both sides are interested, there's more hooking up.
If every member of the 1992 Sports Illustrated swimsuit calendar, every model in that thing was at a club every night and would have slept with me every night, I would have gone every night and hooked up every night. All right.
Okay. Meringue that you put on a lemon meringue pie is made from egg whites, cream of tartar, and sugar. So it has a little sweetness to it.
What is tartar? Cream
of tartar?
No, I know it's an ingredient, but what is it?
No, it's not tartar. It's cream of tartar.
Okay.
Okay.
What is it?
It's the other ingredient in baking powder besides baking soda, and it's an acid, I think.
Oh.
It's powder. It's white powder, but it's used for the chemical composition of stuff.
And it becomes very airy. Meringue that Tom...
Do you have the same model computer as Alice, Dr. Cheswick? It sounds like it.
Talked about the crispy kind, the crunchy kind, that are kind of flavorless. Those are the same lemon meringue pie meringue, but they're baked.
Ah.
And they dry them out, and they're good if you put macerated strawberries on them or some kind of fruit.
If you do something to distract from the meringue.
Compote.
I like them.
So it gives it a little softness, but it adds slight crunch. But you're kind of right, Tom. Those are sort of flavorless.
Correct. Thank you.
Mayonnaise is made with whole eggs.
Oh.
That's the.
I just splurged. Alice, you know how we're on an allowance this week?
Mm-hmm.
I splurged. I got the Hellmann's.
Mm-hmm.
One of the reasons I have to get the Hellmann's is because if I splurge, my brother does a pop-in and it's not Hellmann's here. It's going to be a problemo. But there's nothing better than Hellmann's. I figured what a good use of $5 for a tenth of an ounce.
Big difference.
Thank you, Dr. Cheswick.
Oh, secondarily, I think that I think Biden's going to be tripping even more now because he has to go out in the public and push his agenda and get his face out there, especially with his low approval rate. But people are coming after him. Other Democrats are running against him. He's going to have to get out there in person. So see you soon.
Thank you, Dr. Choice. Alice, do you think another mainstream Democrat goes in a race after this fall?
Not after this fall. I think it'll take more than that.
Okay.
But I think it's possible that more than that happens and somebody does get in.
Just working.
Nope, sorry, Tim. Hold on. Let me turn this down. Sorry, Tim. Hold on.
Around the house, kitchen up.
Sorry, Tim.
Just working around the house, catching up on my all-you-can-eat podcast. I think that's the name of it. Anyway,
it is. Subscribe, by the way. If you're not subscribed, subscribe to the All You Can Eat podcast.
Mm-hmm.
We enjoyed the last one we did very much, actually.
Yeah.
It's very. It's a passion project.
love listening to it.
Thanks, Tim.
Very relatable. Although, a couple things I want to point out.
Yes.
One,
Okay.
the Burger King ads, I agree. The one with the guy in the mask is creepy, but Burger King used to have great ads. There's one I've been trying to find on YouTube. It's just guys, and they're like tipping cars over, playing tubas, and just talking about being guys eating Burger King. That was fantastic. I think it was in like the early 2000s. Secondly,
It does sound vaguely familiar, actually. I think I didn't like that either.
Oh, really? I'll have to
But
look.
maybe
It's
it's
interesting.
because I'm not a guy, so maybe it didn't appeal.
far be it from me to criticize someone for their odd food likes.
Yeah.
I don't judge and I don't shame food likes, but putting mayo in your coffee, all
That's
I
the
can
football player
envision
was
is
doing
someone
that.
just hucking a loogie in a
Ugh.
coffee and then someone drinking it. That is
Ugh.
disgusting.
God.
And this is from a guy whose one favorite food snack is a large glass of milk, whole milk,
I like
even
milk,
half and
too.
half,
Mm,
with a
yes,
bag of
agree.
Doritos. Oh, delicious. Mm.
Ooh, the Doritos.
That is good. And you know what? I didn't do the Dorito thing, although that was always in college. My hangover cure was a massive amount of Gatorade and Doritos.
Okay.
Because you have to refresh your electrolytes and salt content, right?
Is it not a little shady to have a grown man drinking milk?
I know you're not into it, but I used to when I was young. Like I used to always drink milk, like a big glass of milk, and as I was sitting reading a book, because that's what I did for fun when I was a kid. I would have a big glass of milk and Smart Food popcorn, which I feel is in the same like wheelhouse,
jealous.
like the cheese and the milk, and I could have eaten that like all day.
Hi, Steve from Merrimack.
Hey,
Hi,
Steve.
Steve.
Again. I was listening to your May 29th episode, which was about, rethinking and reimagining things and how that always sucks. And you're talking about The Little Mermaid. And just to show you what a pandering puke Melissa McCarthy is. I sound like Jerry Callahan, right? What a pandering puke she is.
Dirtbag.
I saw an interview with her about her character Ursula. And she's like, oh, I've been so influenced by drag.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, that's like the original Ursula is supposed to be based on this like a famous drag star, because a lot of the people involved in developing musical movies, by the way, were in the gay scene. Like, so.
My whole career. And I brought that to my characterization of Ursula. F you! You're so full of bullshit. Jesus. Oh, I hate her now. I hate her. And she was thin, Tom, but she's back to being chubby.
Oh, thank you. That's good. I thought you had done that. Yeah, it stinks because she was such a great comedic actress. God, these people immediately get famous and take themselves ultra seriously. It shows such a like weakness and conviction. It does. It's weak.
Thank you. And then the second thing was I was reimagining. I was talking to a couple of millennials recently who are family members. And now, mind you, these are two people who don't know anything about the history of their country, especially the Civil War. But they're interested in learning more about the Civil War. And I said, why don't you watch Ken Burns' documentary from 1990 on the Civil War? It's like one of the greatest things ever on television. And say what you will about Ken Burns, but that was a good show.
Yes.
And they both looked at me like, well, we've read, God knows where, we've read that Ken Burns' Civil War should be redone to be more in line with today's thinking. And now that I'm thinking about it, are they looking for some more kink in the Ken Burns documentary on the Civil War? I'm not totally certain about it.
It probably does not take into the account the impact of the LGBTQ2SIA plus community on the Civil War, and
that's true.
Does not talk enough about the influence that drag had on the armies.
And they, for some reason, lionize Lincoln in that documentary.
Oh, right. Who's super problematic.
Yes,
tear down
totally
his statue.
Problematic. Yes. He hurt indigenous people one day, and that was really the only legacy I know him for, hurting indigenous people in Illinois.
It's really amazing that two people could have gone through Andover High School in one of the richest towns in Massachusetts and not learned a goddamn thing about the Civil War. Really pathetic. Thank you.
Can you imagine?
No, you learn way more, especially history, I think, is like an area that's so undertaught. You learn way more history by watching stuff, honestly, on like YouTube.
Oh, totally.
And probably you can find the Ken Burns Civil War on YouTube.
You were watching the Incas thing, right?
Oh, yeah. I love that. That's the Fall of Civilizations podcast that I love.
Let's talk about one of your takeaways from that in the Patreon.
Thank you so much for listening. So we are doing an extra Patreon segment tonight. So if you are watching live on Patreon, stay there. We're going to come right back after this music. If you're not on Patreon and you'd like to join that, you can do that at patreon.com/burnbarrel. Of course, you can always find the show for free at burnbarrelpodcast.com, where there's links to all different places to listen to the show. There's the spot to leave those chat messages, which keep them coming. Great chat today. And YouTube, Rumble, all those places.